Hello my friends, Paul here in the RoJoBe Music Workshop, and welcome to part 3 of the Handmade electric bass guitar project. Okay, so in the first episode I shown, just trying to remember, the body blank and the neck and headstock, which I had to buy a right-handed one, and I surrounded the headstock with more wood to then cover the whole thing with veneer, which I showed in the second episode, and marked the outline of the headstock in the opposite orientation for left hand for me, and marked out the tuner holes as well, the center of them. And so I have now cut it out. I will show you the back of it first. So the headstock is cut out, and all of the tuner holes drilled as well. And yeah, I did get a bit carried away, so I've also shaped all of this part by hand, and you can still see some filler there. Well, to remove all of that, I would have had to go right back to about here to remove all of that filler, so that would have weakened, you know, the side of this, and it would have been odd. So you know, if this was a customer's guitar or one for sale, this wouldn't be any good for that. But I'm really happy with it. I've contoured it all and shaped it so that it's comfortable for me, where my hand's going to go if I'm, you know, fretting on the first fret, and this bit here is obviously where my thumb will go. So I've shaped and contoured all of this part now so that it's comfortable for me, and I'm really happy with it. I haven't covered the sides. I've left those open, and you can still see some of the joins here and there, and the same this side as well. But I'm happy enough with that. I really like how it's turned out, and you know, I've gone over it with different grits of sandpaper to get all the edges smooth and everything. And one more thing I've done is I've fitted a truss rod cover. So this is one that I'd made before for another project but hadn't used it, so I thought I'd put it on this one. And I have had to kind of cut these sides down a bit at the top, because you see how close it is to this tuner hole. So I had to, you know, it did sort of curve out a little bit more at the top, but I've cut that down so that it fits on there nice. I like it, you know, it's bigger than they normally are, and I'm not even sure if the basses actually have these on, but I wanted it on there, and it's got my logo on there. So the headstock is 99% finished. You know, it's, as I said, I've shaped it all by hand with various files and rasps and sandpaper and yada yada yada. And I've got the you know, the tuner holes drilled to the right size, and I have test fitted them, and they fit in there nicely. You know, even sort of checked that this was enough clearance, and it's fine. So, and I've oiled the fretboard as well. I shouldn't need to do it a second time, but if I do, I will. But that will be sort of towards the end of the build. So I'm really happy with this headstock. It's turned out how I want it, and you know, the contours at the back are perfect for me. Got my truss rod cover on. Now, one more thing I want to do to this is to engrave my logo on this section here, and that's why I'm over this side of the workshop, of a shop. And you know, I've got my laptop set up. So let me just turn you around this way so you can see what's going on there. And now, I am going to zoom in, although it does sort of make it a little bit blurry. It doesn't work that well. This camera's not great. Too much. Let's just go up a bit. How are we looking? Not too bad, not too bad. So, this is the Lightburn software for laser engravers. In my opinion, it's one of the best. and I've basically got a lifetime subscription to it, and I did pay a bit extra after I bought the license key. I paid a little bit extra so that I always get the updates. But it was a one-off fee. I don't have to pay any more. So I've got a lifetime license with this and all of the updates. I paid a little bit extra so that I always get all the updates. So, let me just close that one down. Okay, so if I just zoom the screen a little bit, you can see my logo there at the bottom of the screen. So this grid represents the working area of the laser. And if I now right click in the top right hand corner of the screen on a blank part, it opens a menu, and then if I go down to cuts and layers, it opens a window there, and this one is for setting the speed and the power of the laser output. So I've got the speed at 4,500 millimeters per minute and the power at 80%, and this is my 10 watt machine, the Atom Stack A10 Pro. And I know I've spoken about these laser machines before, but they are absolutely awesome, brilliant machines, and this software is really, really good as well. I've still only learned maybe 5% of this software. Is quite a lot to learn, but for what I need to do, I've learned enough for now. So that's the window for adjusting speed and power output. And then if I right click up here again to bring that menu up again, I click on laser. So here I can select my laser from the A5, the A10 and the A20, and here I select the port, USB port. Right, so I'll switch the machine on, and if I choose the USB port. Okay, so it's the machine's connected now. Right, so what I need to do now is set up or put the neck in the machine, which is already set up. I've got everything set up ready to save time, because the setup is what takes the time doing these jobs. So put that in there. You probably can't see what I'm doing really, but okay. So let's line that up. Seems about right. Okay. So now back to the software. In this window on the left, as I said, this is the controls for the machine. So first of all, I can press home, to make sure it's connected and the machine, the laser head is homed. Then I click on frame, and this will show me where it's going to engrave. So I need to adjust that manually. So I'll bring that right back here. So I'll go that way. It's a little bit low, so I need to push it back a bit. Well, okay. Right, I think I'm happy with that. Let's just check again. Go back that way just a touch. Okay, I think I'm actually going to reduce the size of it. Because I'm a bit worried it's not going to, it's going to go off the edge of that headstock. I know you really can't see what I'm doing, but let's go, hold on, let's blow that up a bit. Right, so back to there. So I've currently got it at 8 centimetres. I'm going to reduce it to 7 centimetres. Just check that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So let me see where that's going to go now. Yeah, happy with that. Happy with that? Yep, I'm happy with that. Okay, so I can now open a window here which tells me how long it's going to take. Less than 2 minutes. So, you know, the setup takes a lot longer than the actual job itself. So, I'm going to start that now, and hopefully it will do what I want it to do, where I want it. And as I said, that's going to take like 2 minutes. Okay, here we go. Right, so while that's doing its thing, and as I said, it's only going to be a couple of minutes, just going to turn my attention to the body of the guitar, which I have over here, and I've got the template on there, stuck on with double-sided tape, ready to cut out the neck pocket in the body. Now this for me is always a pretty scary moment, because you know, if this goes wrong, this is ruined and I've got to start again, and I haven't got any more of this wood. I'd have to buy some more. So I've got some brand new router bits which I'll be using on this, so I know that they're, you know, properly sharp and no nicks or anything out of them. So I'm just checking this engraving. Yeah, I'm happy enough with that. Yeah, this for me is always a scary moment doing this, because if it goes wrong, I've got to start again. But like I said, I'm using new router bits, so it should be absolutely fine. It should be. So yeah, I've got this template stuck on there, ready to do the neck pocket, and I've got a line across here. You can probably see a line drawn across there, so I know what depth to go to, and I'm going to creep up on that, because you don't, you know, you want, when the neck is sitting in there, the line of the fretboard, you should still be able to see that above the body, and it's pretty important to get that right. Very important, actually. Not only for aesthetics, but also for, you know, correct string height, string action. I mean, obviously, that's done. Obviously, you do have. Let's just switch it off. You do have adjustments, you know, for string action, etc. But you know, the neck has got to be set properly in the first place. So once I've cut this out and got it nicely shaped and smoothed and everything else, I can then start to test fit the neck and you know, make any tweaks I may need to. Hopefully, you know, this will go well and I won't need to tweak it, but we'll see. So I'm going to do that off camera, because the noise, the mess, and you know, it will take a little while to get it done. But once it is done, we'll then be going into part 4, which will be test fitting the neck and whatever else I decide to do as well. So let's have a look at this headstock now that the engraving's finished. quite subtle, but I like that. That's come out really nice. I may or may not put some white filler in there. I don't know yet, because I am pretty happy with that. It looks nice. I might put some white filler in there. I don't know. What do you think? Should I leave it as it is? Because what we've got here is, you know, I did it fairly lightly, so that all it's done is it's engraved through the veneer, and it's showing the wood underneath. If I'd gone slower speed or higher power, it would have actually burnt that and made it black, which is, you know, still not a bad thing, but I personally prefer this look. And like I said, I might put some white filler in there, I don't know, or I might leave it like that. Not sure yet. So that's that part done. And the next job for me is to route the neck pocket. Okay, and once that's done, as I said, we'll go into part 4, which will be test fitting the neck and a few other bits and pieces, not quite sure what yet. That's coming soon. In the meantime, please look after yourselves, look after each other. We will see you soon. Peace out.